right, welcome everyone. It's my pleasure to call to order this meeting of the Town Board of the Town of Poughkeepsie on June 17th, 2026. We will start with a salute to the flag, and although we all hope for peace, we have many people deployed still, and like a little moment of silence as we remember all those who are deployed and in harm's way. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. Okay, we're going to begin with the roll call.
Greg Freeman, Ward 1.
Barbara Laird, representing Ward 2.
Shanta Tangaya, Ward 3.
Emily Watson, Ward 4.
Good evening, Ryan Sharp, Ward 5.
Ann Shersham, Ward 6.
Felicia Salvatore, Town Clerk.
Emily Svensson, Attorney to the Town.
Rebecca Edwards, Town Supervisor. We have a new face here tonight, and I want to give Greg Freeman a chance to introduce himself. He was sworn in at the end of the last meeting and was at Town Hall the following morning, getting started and getting information. So very glad to have the board at full strength and extremely glad to have Greg join us.
Yeah, thank you very much. I just tell you a little bit about myself. And first, thanks to the board for bringing me on. I'm so excited, and you know, I want to learn, I want to participate, and I want to help my constituents. About me, I'm a retired IBM manager. I worked in East Fishkill for 32 years. I want to improve our community. I'm very focused on our comprehensive plan and a lot of the vision it presents to us there, and I want to keep that in our context, and I'd like to help. And one thing I want to do, well, first of all, my contact information's on the website, and thank you to Erica for putting that up there. And I've scheduled a meet and greet, and I hope some people come out to the Senior Center on June 23rd at noon. And I just want to meet some of you. So, thank you. Happy to be here.
Wonderful. Thank you. Okay, so the way we do this when we have a public hearing is we begin with the public hearing, and then after that we'll open the floor for up to 3 minutes for people who want to speak on any other item on tonight's agenda. So we can put you on the spot, Greg, as we usually start with Ward 1, or you can pass over to Barb if you'd like to introduce the first resolution.
Okay, now I may have to ask Barbara for some help here.
Yep.
You
want to just copy what I do? Do it for you?
Go ahead.
Okay.
Sure.
We're going to open up the public hearing to set a Monroe analysis hearing for the police court facility, and we'll open that now.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor of opening the public hearing?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? All right, the hearing is open, and that hearing is tonight.
Yes.
So we're not setting the date, we're actually having the hearing now, all right? Did the town attorney want to speak a little bit about Monroe analysis and what this is? Just a quick overview?
Sure. It's called Monroe analysis after a court case, but the essence of it is that when a town is doing a project, there's the question whether the town board should be the main reviewer and planner of the project, or whether it needs to also go through planning board review. And so this is the analysis of that question. We're proposing for the town board to take the lead, as they normally do on projects like this, but we're going through this process to give anyone a chance to comment on that. The planning board has a chance to comment on it, and then a determination will be made at the next meeting.
Okay. All right, so the floor is open. If there is anyone here in the room or online who wanted to speak about the town's decision to have the town board take the lead in the review, with as it notes some, seeking the advice also of the planning board. Anyone speak on this? Okay, seeing none, I would then move to close the public hearing? We don't need to continue it, right?
No, we should close the hearing, but as the notice stated, we will continue to receive written comments through June 23rd because the planning board doesn't meet till tomorrow night, so that will give them a chance to submit comments if they'd like.
Okay, so we're closing the public hearing, but written public comments will continue to be heard until the 23rd. Okay? All right.
Second?
All those in favor of closing the public hearing? Aye. Any opposed? All right. That motion carries 7-0. Okay, then we move on to our regular agenda. And I move that we suspend the rules for anyone who may want to speak for up to 3 minutes on any item on tonight's agenda.
Second?
All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right, the motion carries 7-0. Let me start with anyone in the room who might want to speak on tonight's agenda. Welcome. If you want to come forward, you can identify yourself if you wish. That's up to you. And there's a mic there so that you can be heard by the folks on Zoom.
Okay, my name's Andrew Tokash, and
You're welcome to sit if you'd like.
okay.
You'll get, these mics require everybody to lean way over, so.
Okay, thank
There
you.
go. Perfect.
So my name's Andrew Tokash. I'm here to talk about the Reese Preserve. So I'm coordinating the volunteer group that came together. We've been working with Rebecca. We've been working with Scenic Hudson and others. We have a group of about 15 people that have volunteered their time to go out and clear brush, do other work. We're very committed to this property. It's just wonderful property. It's very different than Bowden Park. It's a little bit wilder. The terrain's a little bit rougher. So, and we're hoping that we're going to keep, our proposal is, our recommendation is to name it the Reese Woods Preserve, in honor of Franny Reese, that part. And we're just hoping that the town does it. It's a really great property. And I'm also a member of Dutchess County's Ralph T. Waterman Bird Club. This land is prime birding property. So we've had nesting eagles, ospreys, all kinds of warblers, flycatchers. It's just a really, really great spot. And for the town to take this over would be just a wonderful thing. And I'm also a hiker. I live about 10 minutes from that. I go there at least 3 times a month. It is just excellent land, and it'll be a great thing for the town of Poughkeepsie to take over. So thank you.
Thank you very much. And I just want to say thank you to everybody in your group who's been involved in, for a long time actually, but is now signed up more formally for trail walking and helping to care for the site.
Yep.
So it's wonderful.
right,
Thank you
thank
very
you.
much. Okay, is there anyone else in the room who wanted to speak on any item on tonight's agenda? Yes, Steve, welcome.
Steve Oshkosh, Third Ward. It's actually on the committee reports, particularly the supervisor's report on the court, police and courts oversight. I'm hoping, it's more a statement that hoping that you're gonna, part of that report will address how, after an engineering study says we need 130 sites, parking spots, how, that survey that, or engineering study that was paid for by the town of over $54,000, how miraculously it's been cut down to 90 or 30% reduction. And I haven't seen any other studies or things. I hope it wasn't just counting cars on random days, because you can't look at individual days. There's a science to it to make sure that you can meet the peak demand of the site.
Sure. We'd be happy to speak to that, and Mike Hall from Labella is online with us tonight in case we want to refer to any questions to him as well, so.
Okay,
thanks.
thank you.
All right. Anyone else who's in the room who wanted to speak? Okay, let me go to folks who are online. Doreen, welcome.
Thank you. So I have a question about number 14, the tax settlement for Germania Hall. So I'm a little confused on that, because I thought that last fall the town won an appeal on that for the lawsuit, and now I see that it says they are going to get a refund for 2024. So why is the town giving them money back now?
So for 2025, the judgment of the court holds, So for 2025 and going forward, the taxes are at full value. There was some discussion, Germania challenged the assessment for 2024, and so that's where we ended up having a discussion because it was in the courts. A couple other people have researched this. We may want to talk about it further when we get to that item. I don't want to, we could end up in a long conversation now. When we get to that item, we'll try to explain further why 2024 alone was a question.
Okay, so this is just for 2024.
It's just for 2024.
Okay, thank you.
Like all tax certs, it was contested, right? But we'll come back to it later. Okay. Anyone else who's online who wanted to speak? Okay, seeing none, then I move that we return to regular session.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries 7-0. Okay, we are back into regular session. Ms. Laird.
This is resolution number 2 to accept Anthony Andros' retirement from the Water Department, effective June 26. So moved.
Second.
Okay, wish him very well. He's had a long career at the town, and wish him very well in his retirement. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Resolution carries 7-0.
Resolution number 3, extension of temporary appointment of Kathy Morrow as part-time assessor aide for the assessor's office. So moved.
Second. Okay. She's been incredibly helpful as the assessor took a medical leave, and it looks like the best way to carry forward staffing is to have her continue on a part-time basis. So she's going to continue doing that for now. She's been immensely helpful. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Resolution carries 7-0.
All right, resolution number 4 is the appointment of Braden Michael Weatherup as the seasonal laborer for the recreational department at $18 per hour, effective June 22nd. So moved.
Second.
Okay, we're finishing the full staffing of the rec department for the warm weather season. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? The resolution carries 7-0.
Resolution 5 is the appointment of Patrick Wisniewski to the Plumbing Board of Examiner, and this term runs through December 31st, 2028. So moved.
Second.
We just want to thank him for his service. This is a volunteer position, and very much appreciate him being willing to serve so that the plumbing board continues. Yes, Ann?
Yeah, and this is the layperson, so he's going to just be the average resident on the plumbing board, which we are required to have one of. And then we still have one vacancy left over for a plumber. So if there's a plumber out there who's interested in joining, but for right now, we'll be up to 6, and that's a good number to keep going forward.
Okay, great. Thanks. Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The resolution carries 7-0. And we do have one more opening for a plumber. So if there's someone else who wants to join the board, then may it be at full strength. Okay, Ann?
Yes. And number 6 is the appointment of Michael LaRocca as full-time laborer in the water department. So moved.
Second. Okay, he's joining a team of people who are coming on at the laborer position, and will hopefully be, sort of learning the ropes as people who have not had prior experience in water departments in other locations, but are going to learn from the ground up here. So we welcome him. We've made a couple of appointments recently too, but welcome him to the town team. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Resolution carries 7-0. Okay, resolution number 7 is the appointments of Gerald Volpe III and Braden Tierney as seasonal laborers for the water department. So moved.
Second.
Okay, stands seasonal, helping out for the summer season with painting hydrants and the kinds of things we need to do in the summertime. So, all those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Resolution carries 7-0. Number 8. And Greg, the way we've been doing it, just to give you some background, is we've been giving longer titles to each resolution, and all we need to read is the title, and then if we need to, we can flesh it out a little bit more. So you're not actually required to read 3 pages. You can just read the title, and then we can take it from there.
Okay, you
So,
got it. That's easy.
just letting you know before you.
Unless it's a hazing and you have to do the whole thing.
No way.
And you have to finish it with so moved.
Yes.
Okay.
That's right.
Yes, they
You have to say
all right.
so moved at the end.
So number 8, authorize the acquisition of property from the Putnam Highlands Audubon Society and Scenic Hudson, and start the permissive referendum period. So moved.
Second.
Okay, this is a big one. This is the acquisition of about 100 acres from the Putnam Highlands Audubon Society. That was willed to them by the Reese family. They are a whole county away. They're a small volunteer organization, and it's helpful to them because they're just far away, for the town to take oversight so that we can make sure that this property is preserved in perpetuity. They call it passive use, which I think is a strange term because hiking and bird watching are pretty active things to do, but it means we don't plan to build anything on it. We have agreed we will not put soccer fields there or anything like that. All of these both parcels surround New Hamburg Park, both the scenic Hudson parcel and this one, so it will become New Hamburg Park, and the local volunteer group is suggesting and Reese Woods Preserve. We did agree that we would keep the Reese name because this was donated by the Reese family in honor of Franny Reese. So it would become New Hamburg Park, which will have the basketball court and the parking area and everything that already has, the sort of amenities in it. And then behind it, the trails and the preserved area of the Reese Woods Preserve. So.
Yeah, I just want to say I'm thrilled about this, absolutely thrilled. For years, this has been coming before this board, and for years they weren't interested in doing it, but I think we're in the best position to steward this property through in the future and to ensure that it's preserved into the future. So I'm delighted that we're going to be taking responsibility and taking ownership of it.
Well, it's wonderful to have the group of volunteers. We have a little bit of a model for this in the Friends of Peach Hill Park. The first large, really woodland preserve in the town was Peach Hill Park, and the Friends of Peach Hill have done a wonderful job of developing a master plan for that park, fundraising, having events there, getting people involved, and sort of maintaining, removing invasive species, all sorts of things like that. That's also a great bird watching site. So we have that on the north side of town, and now it's very exciting to have the Reese Woods Preserve as a town park on the south side of town.
I'd like to say a couple of things if I can.
Of course.
Because this is how I really got involved with all of you, really. It was, and I'm part of the group that Andrew referred to. Me and my wife, we hike this trail often. It's about 3.5 miles from my house into Wappinger Village, and it's a lovely hike. People, if they haven't done it, they should try it. But I just had one question. Because I didn't read it in here, and it's probably just in the legal language. What is a parkland, and how does that preserve this against future use? Do we have clarity about that?
Sure. So once land is declared and used as a park, then it becomes, it is protected by the public trust doctrine, meaning that it belongs to the people of the state, and you can't then change it to anything other than a park except through an act of the state legislature. So there are a few different things acting to preserve this. There's that element. There's also the agreement with Scenic Hudson, where we're promising not to use it for things other than passive recreation. So there are a few layers of protection there, but that's what it means to dedicate it as a park.
Yeah, so that's very good news.
So we're inheriting and accepting the restrictions already placed by Putnam Highlands Audubon and by Scenic Hudson. We are adopting those, but also any land that belongs to the town and has been designated as parkland. It's almost impossible without the state legislature acting, and you better have a really good reason to make it into something else. So there's, as Emily said, multiple layers of protection here. So it is a wonderful park. It's a steep wooded hillside over the Wappinger Creek, and if you haven't parked at New Hamburg Park and walked those trails, you should go do it because it's pretty cool. Great bird watching. So, anybody else want to speak?
I would like to say that I do remember Mr. Tokash at the New Hamburg Yacht Club when we met with Scenic Hudson and members of the Putnam Highland Audubon, and it's really nice to see that you were there supporting it way back when, maybe 7 or 8 months ago, or a year ago.
It's taken a little while to get this to happen.
But
right,
it's so nice to see that you were there supporting it then, and you are also back here supporting it today. So I thank you, because it means that we won't have to. The recreation department is not going to have to do this on their own. We will have really good help in the community.
One of the reasons we got stuck for a little while that might be worth just saying on record is that there is a cemetery on the property, and we had to do very thorough deed research to understand that We are not taking ownership of the cemetery, and in fact, we could not, because Putnam Highlands, it was not ever deeded to Putnam Highlands, so Putnam Highlands cannot deed it to us. It continues to belong to the Presbyterian Church. It belonged to a church that's no longer there, a local church that's no longer there, but we have also been in touch with the Presbyterian officials, administrators. They're acknowledging that it is their cemetery. The same group of local volunteers is helping to keep that small cemetery clean and, weed it every spring, but, which is wonderful, but that's on behalf of the presbytery and not the town, and the cemetery itself is not part of what we are accepting. So we just want to make that clear for the future. And the presbytery, I think, I'm sure this is true of a lot of traditional church denominations. They said, oh, another one? There are a lot of cemeteries all over the place that are associated with churches that no longer exist, that still remain church responsibility. So if we ever need to, we can reach out to the church to make sure that they are involved in that care. Okay, anything else? Rec department is ready to help. There's a sign that needs to be repaired and a few things, and they'll be doing some trail cleanup and working closely with the volunteers to make sure the park is in order. Actually, we do have to wait 30 days,
I was just
right?
gonna
That's
say
the
that,
last thing I
right,
forgot,
yeah.
right? We can't actually literally take ownership. Did you want to, right, because there's
Oh,
a
just
30-day
because
window
it's-
to wait.
Right, because we're taking land that will become parkland, it's subject to a permissive referendum period, so in case anyone wants to object to it, but assuming they don't, then after 30 days, we can
Okay.
go ahead and close.
So after the vote tonight, we wait 30 days, okay? All right, all those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Unanimous vote of 7-0. I'm really delighted to have that happen, and thank you to those who came to speak in favor. So, all right, resolution number 9.
Sure, this is to authorize licensing space at 244 Boardman Road to Stragendo Incorporated. It's a tenant who would like to use the space, and they have music programs during the summer months. So moved.
Second.
Okay, just to clarify, the town will be setting usage rate fees. We'll be bringing to the board some recommendations for rate fees at the new town hall. The only thing we'll be able to use this fall would be the gym, and we're still in negotiations with Edge Athletics. We're still playing out the expiring leases that PDS held for the site, and other leases would begin in early '27. However, Strangendo has had this lease in the past, and there's already campers there from the Start to Be program in July, and Strangendo asked to use the space again. So given that we're working around another camp group, we continued an additional summer for them at $9,500. So it's good to have some income to the town that helps us as we prepare to take the property. But after this, we will be coming forward with, a set of new licenses and new proposed fees for the town.
I think it's good to allow some continuity,
Yep.
you know.
We hope to, have continued agreements with different people who have used that space, different groups that have used that space, as long as we're making sure that it's also available to others, so. Okay,
It's a beautiful program if you're able to go through the last week when they do the full recitals. It's just awesome. My daughter participated a few summers.
amazing
It's great.
strings, yeah, it's great. I know a lot of kids who've gotten a lot out of that program,
Yeah.
so. Okay, all those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right, the resolution passes 7-0.
Resolution 10, authorize execution of legal documents relating to the Stratford Farms Townhouse projects. So moved.
Okay, second. Okay, this is the townhouse section of the Stratford Farms subdivision. The houses, single-family houses have been put in. This is the townhouses, which are just getting wrapped up. And this is sort of, the final documents we need to get that project completed. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Resolution carries 7-0.
Resolution number 11 is to authorize the implementation of the Town of Poughkeepsie Girls Softball League grant from the Hudson Valley Renegades for the field modifications and improvements at Stanley Still Park. It's a grant for up to $10,000 in value. So moved.
Second.
Okay, and congratulations to the Town of Poughkeepsie Girls Softball League for having gone out and gotten this grant. And then they've specified the things that are most needed to be done for upgrades to the park where they play. So we accept the gift on their behalf of that work, so. Okay, all those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Resolution carries 7-0, and congratulations and thanks again to the Girls Softball League.
Resolution 12 is to set a public hearing for a property maintenance violation at 14 McGorna Lane in the town of Poughkeepsie. So moved.
Second.
Okay, I think that this is the situation in Ward 3. You may be aware of it. It's an ongoing situation with a lot of debris and trash that needs to be removed. And, you know, it's a difficult situation, but the town needs to make sure that the property is kept up. So we're authorizing that happen.
Doesn't appear anyone's living there. It appears that it's been pretty much abandoned. So-
I think that's correct.
Yes,
Yeah,
it
which
is.
is-
I just wanted to say, we got a complaint the next day. I went there to do a physical inspection, and then they took pictures, and we, you know, brought it to the officials to take action. Actually, there's a raccoon infestation and debris and the expired license car, and so what I want to say is, if anybody, you know, this kind of situation, reach out to us. We'll mitigate the issues.
Okay. All right, then all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, so the motion carries, the resolution carries 7-0, and that sets, I should have said July 8th as the date for the, at 7 PM, for the date for a public hearing about this. So if anybody has issues to raise, they can do so on July 8th. Okay? All right.
All right, and Resolution 13 is to set a public hearing for the unsafe building violation at 195 Vassar Road, and this public hearing is to be set for July 8th, 2026. So moved.
Okay.
Second.
All right, this is an ongoing situation, but I think we need to extend further the unsafe building. I believe our prior action has expired, and we need to extend it as we continue to figure out how to resolve this issue with the building. So again, another home that needs to be dealt with. Okay, public hearing for is set for that on July 8th. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Resolution passes 7-0. Okay, resolution number 14, to authorize a tax cert settlement for Germania of Poughkeepsie, that is for the 2024 tax roll only. So moved.
Second.
Okay. I know a couple of different board members researched this. I don't want to put Greg on the spot at his first meeting, but I know you
It's
did.
okay.
So if you want to speak to us a
I was
little
wondering
bit.
about this too. So what I learned, and I don't have maybe all the facts here, but there was a sort of a callback activity, I think had needed to be initiated by the county. And that didn't go as, it wasn't done exactly correctly for 2024. And they had a choice of either continuing legal process or, you know, accept the settlement only for 2024. Apparently, 2025, the procedures have all been followed correctly.
Right.
And so it's only a 2024 question for that reason.
So it was a county issue in 2024 as to how it was handled when it was in court,
It was
right?
that callback
Right.
process somehow.
And as always with the tax cert, we have to make the decision of, do we want to go fight this in court and spend thousands of dollars, because court cases are $25,000 to $30,000 if you're going to really commit to it. And in this case, the amount of money is fairly small, and it's for 1 year only. So without being terribly happy ever about, about a tax cert, it seemed like that was the recommendation, was to take that approach. But for 2025 and forward, full taxes will be paid.
I just wanted to add, we also, the reason we are voting to support is we strongly believe that this is the best way to save the taxpayers' money. We also continue to do research. If there is a situation we believe we can challenge, we will challenge, and we will also try to give more explanation, more analytical explanation. This is if we go through a litigation, how much it's gonna cost. So we kind of we can explain, hey, this is the best. This is the reason. This is the amount. Make us decide to vote because we believe that this is the best way to save taxpayers' money. Thank you.
And this is part of there was a longer conversation, Greg, that we've been having about how to best protect the town from suits from people seeking to lower their tax bill. And we did invest a little more this year in the fund that allows us to do appraisals when we want to challenge an appraisal that a taxpayer, usually a larger company, has brought into us. And we're in conversation about some further issues. So it may be a good time now to meet, for those board members who are most interested, to meet again with Kyle Barnett, who represents us in these, and maybe with Maureen, the new assessor, to talk about, upcoming measures or additional measures. Because obviously, anytime somebody doesn't pay their full taxes, that's more that falls on everybody else. And so it's an issue that different municipalities handle differently. I've heard of towns where they fight every single tax cert in court no matter what. That is expensive. That becomes actually more expensive, as Shanta said. In other cases, people, you're trying to find that right balance. So I think it's something we need to keep working on. So, okay. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Resolution carries 7-0.
It's about
I think it's back to me.
Back to you.
Sorry, I'm also. This is number 15, authorized farmers market known as Monday Market at Stanley Still Park. So moved.
Second.
Okay, this is our third farmers market in town. We have one on Thursday afternoons in Arlington. There's one at Eastdale now on Sunday mornings. And last year we had a successful market at Stanley Still down on 80 Jackson Road. And we're gonna try that again starting this Monday. There's also a Buy Local, Buy Green event with some local businesses particularly joining for some sort of extra outreach on the very first day this coming Monday. And they have some great vendors, so. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed?
Just need a second.
Oh, whoops,
Second.
sorry about that.
That's
I got
okay.
past that. All right. Seconded by Shanta. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The resolution carries 7-0. All right. And this does bring some revenue to the town, so.
Resolution 16, this is to authorize Dreamland Amusement Circus at the Poughkeepsie Galleria. That's going to be running from July 8th through July 11th, from 5 to 11, that's Wednesday through Friday, and noon to 11 p.m. on Saturday. So moved.
Second.
Okay. All right. Carnival at the Galleria. I think this is the third this year, right? Okay. All right. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right, the resolution carries 7-0.
Resolution 70, I need some help here.
Yes.
I
This is the standard workday approval of hours for those of us who need to renew our hours. Felicia, you want to speak to it briefly? Because I know it's your.
It's something that's done by the New York State Retirement, and basically, years ago, the town came up with this, standard workday hours, and then the officials have to, in the beginning of their terms, do a 3-month tally if they're in the retirement. If they're not, they don't, of the hours that they worked, and then it's calculated, and that's considered their record of activities. So this is just the final one because it's past the 3 months. They give you a little longer in case you go on vacation. And Emma helped me very much, and we calculated everything, and the numbers are now put on the resolution that the state provides.
Okay, so this is for the log, reaffirming the log for people who are signed up for the New York State retirement system.
Correct.
Yeah, okay, good.
And some
All right.
people are timekeepers and others have to keep their time.
Yeah.
Thank
So moved.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Resolution carries 7-0. Great.
Resolution number 18 is to accept the 2026 minutes from the town board meetings in April 22nd, May 6th, May 20th, and June 3rd. So move.
Second. All right, any discussion?
Thank you, Felicia.
Thank you, Jessica, who's learning.
Thank you,
All right,
Jessica.
excellent, yes, thank you to everybody in the clerk's office. Okay, all those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? The resolution carries 7-0. All right, notifications.
We have we just have a notice of claim, Wells versus Town and Watson versus Town. It is not this Watson, it is a different Watson, just in case anybody's curious. And then, for number 20, I might as well go right to it. I have a, classic car show that's happening at Mayor's College Riverfront, and that is gonna be on Saturday, June 20th, if anybody's interested. And that's from 8:30 a.m. to 3 o'clock p.m., and that's down by the boathouse, I believe, near the river. And I don't remember how many years they've done it, but I think it's quite a few,
Okay,
18 or 19
great.
annual.
It's so nice to be right on the river there.
Yeah,
Oh, it's a beautiful spot, isn't it?
and there'll be a food truck there for everybody to enjoy.
Okay, so I am going to try, Felicia, for the supervisor's presentation, to share my screen on Zoom, or how does this work? Because Tim had me, I'm on Zoom.
I think you can just share your screen if you're doing Zoom. It should work, because most other people,
Okay,
it doesn't allow you to share video, because
let me
we
see.
don't want people to do that.
Here's my Zoom link, right? And share. There we go.
It should work.
Wow. This tab.
If it doesn't, there you go, see?
There we go. Beautiful. Okay. All right, let me start from the beginning.
You might just want
Okay.
to make it larger.
All right. Yep, there we go. Whoop. Is it centered properly? Okay, we're good. All right. So wait, so I have a few other things, but we'll get to that in a second. So first of all, I want to thank board members who participated in the Pride Parade last Saturday. We had a really good group that came, and it was a wonderful event, very joyful event. I know that there are at least a couple of board members who would like to participate in the Juneteenth parade. Juneteenth is being observed this Friday, and then I believe the parade is Saturday. I'm not sure yet whether I can go, but if there are other people who want to participate, we could have a town group join that as well, which would be pretty neat. There's a lot going on. I will say, first of all, that I don't have any updates on the investigation into the fire at Hudson Heritage. I know that an investigation is ongoing. We'll share anything that we may learn. I will say Mike Welty, Director of Municipal Development, and I met with EFG and John Stein, the developers of the property, and they are moving speedily toward taking additional security measures. And also, we are beginning to work with them on a plan for assessing the structural integrity of the buildings, particularly for the historic buildings, of which there are 4 of the 6 that the town had designated were not harmed in the fire. The state of the main administrative building is still unclear. So both for safety and security reasons, and also for historic preservation reasons, we'll be working with them on next steps. We have been working on an agenda software, and we'll have an update soon. A lot of us have been talking about how many reams of paper we go through every meeting. And so for the planning board, zoning board, and town board, we are anticipating moving toward agenda software shortly. So Felicia's been involved in that very closely in her office, Mike Welty and everybody. So I'm hoping to have an update on that soon. Because I think it would make we found some really excellent software that will make the results of meetings easier for people to search online. I think it make it easier for people to participate, and also save a lot of resources, both in terms of staff hours in spent photocopying and in reams of paper. So a big efficiency leap, right? So that's on the way shortly in the next month or two. I went to IBM today and was able to participate in a community event over there with a lot of new hires and interns they have here for this summer. It was really exciting to see how many people are coming here to work on quantum or who are, here as interns for the summer. And was able to tell them about town parks and farmers markets and the summer concert series and things like that. And also asked them how their housing search has been. And all have found housing, but many have had some challenges finding good housing. So that was an issue that some of them are commuting a long distance because of the difficulties of finding housing here. So I had some good conversations with that I can share at some point. I will be coming to you with some materials about the Champlain Hudson Power Express, also known as Chippy, which is a new electric line that's bringing hydropower from Canada to New York City. It was flipped on in early May, so it is now powering about 1 million homes or the equivalent in New York City with hydropower. It does cross through, so on the bottom of the Hudson. We are eligible to receive taxes from it. How much taxes is still a question. And Chippy has asked for a pilot, a payment in lieu of taxes. Many of the supervisors are puzzled about exactly why or how that works, but there will be numbers as of next week as to what we would be receiving under full valuation, what we would be receiving under an escalated pilot, or what we would be receiving under a declensionary pilot. We can talk about it after I send you the email, but we need to take a look. And the good news is that each municipality and each school district gets to decide for themselves. We don't all have to agree on whether we want to take a pilot or not. But the board will want the board to weigh in. I think which one of us gets us the most money is probably the obvious question. It's a nice benefit to us at a time when we really need it because, it brings more value onto our tax rolls without us having to really do anything. It's a cable on the bottom of the Hudson, but we are eligible because we have 8.5 miles of Hudson River shoreline. We are by far in the county, the municipality that will receive here the most from it. So I think it will be a significant aid to our ongoing efforts to diversify our revenue and expand our tax rolls. Okay, so let me move on and talk a little bit about the police and courts update. We are next week having an additional meeting for June that will focus on everything we need to do to authorize the bond for the police and courts facility. So, with a very quick review, we all know that there are a lot of problems at the current police and courts facility, including a lot of things that require constant expenditures, so that we spend a lot of American Rescue Plan funds on the roof, for example, and we have continued leaks and the roof needs repairs over and over. Issues with the parking lot, which I believe has been called Lake Poughkeepsie because it ends up having gigantic holes and potholes in it. And again, you can repave it, and because the underground, it's on a landfill that was never capped, it's various things underneath are sinking, and so you can repave it and it quickly becomes a problem again. The picture at the top left there is what's happened to the slab in a piece of the building, so you're seeing the side of the slab because there's been sinkage. These are some issues in the courts where you can see where doors are ajar and difficult to lock or close properly because of continued settling. And the issue is just that you can't fix these things because the settling continues. So you can fix them all and things look really nice, and about 6 months later, you're having to spend more money on it. Clearly the police and courts need a new home. I think that's been agreed on for a long time. And there was a community working group that looked for sites. There's also been a town board, police and courts relocation committee. So there's been an extensive search to look at every property in town that might be a possible site for the police and courts. And as people know from prior updates, we settled with Labella on a feasibility study that determined that we could, a good plan, and we think the best plan, is to put the Police and Courts building in what's now Town Hall. The picture on the right is Town Hall as it is now, and you can see that it's really kind of a two-tier building. If you, as I can say from personal experience, forget your keys and you need to get from the upper side of the building to the lower side of the building by foot, there is no, it's a very steeply divided site. It's on a grade. And that actually works well for a Police and Courts building because the lower level will be secure for the police along Burnett Drive. That will all be secure parking, and then the upper level will be public parking for the courts. In addition, something that I did not realize when I became supervisor is that this building needs $8 million worth of work, give or take, in the next 5 to 8 years. The HVAC system is nearing end of life, the windows are nearing end of life, and the roof is in particularly poor shape. We don't seem to have been able to keep modern roofs on any of our buildings for the town of Poughkeepsie. So one thing we can do by putting the town police and courts here is fold those costs into the larger project of putting the police and courts here. And I just want to emphasize that there was an earlier plan that I'll talk about in just a second that was to move the police and courts to Boardman Road. That was to purchase the entire Poughkeepsie Day School property, but doing this in the way we're going to do it now was made possible because the Poughkeepsie Day School subdivided that property. The part in gray in the middle here is what Poughkeepsie Day School is keeping. That has the Kenyon House mansion on it, and the school will be moving into that mansion. There was an earlier plan to try to put Town Hall into that mansion. I don't think that ever worked very well because it wasn't big enough for Town Hall. They were going to need to build big towers on the outside of the mansion in order to put elevators in to make it accessible, and the clerk's office was going to end up over in another building, and there's a range of things. But in any case, what we're doing now is buying the parts of the property that are outlined here that include the Gilkison building, the classroom building, which is called now Gilkison, the gym, and then the sports fields. So it enables us to keep the Poughkeepsie, to put Town Hall there, but to have police and courts on another location. As I said, Labella has done the feasibility study. They are now completing schematic design, and so tomorrow, before the Juneteenth holiday, we'll be releasing the materials for next Wednesday's board meeting, and that will include traffic study, SECRA, all the things, the schematic design report, everything that we've gotten to at this point so that we feel confident that we can move ahead with the bond resolution. Just to recap, because we did this once before this year, what we are doing next week is voting on authorization for future bonding. We would not be bonding next Thursday, next Wednesday, but authorizing bonding in the future. Where we are right now in these, this is for bonding up to these amounts, so these are maximums, and when you go to bond, you want to bond high, because you do not want to go back and have to do it again, which is very expensive. So the caps here would be $41.5 million for the hard costs of the construction. That includes some site work here. Another $5.3 million in soft costs, and we think we've got everything included in that: the architectural design work, the construction manager, bonding, legal, insurance, furniture. There's a big allowance for furniture for moving everything, so that everything's included. You'll notice that there is a very big contingency in this number because we do not know a lot of things, and I'm going to talk more about that in just a second, but we don't know a lot about the direction of the economy. But there's a substantial additional amount for contingency. We hope very much to bring the project in at a lower level than this. But given what's going on with gas prices, with the war, with various other things, it's the direction with interest rates, with the direction of the economy, much is unclear. All right, just a quick recap. Earlier this year, we completed bonding for the Town Hall project for Boardman Road, which is $13.2 million. So together, the total ceiling for both of these projects would be $69.6. If we go back and we compare that to the earlier plan, in 2022 dollars, there was that was a projected $78 million for the two projects together, and if that were in today's dollars, it would be over $100 million. I believe, and I think everybody else who's worked on this believes that this is the most cost-effective plan to move the police and courts, which is an essential project. And you've got pictures here of what the new front of the court building would look like on the public side, and then the picture on the left is of the police side of the building. The building, on that picture on the left, what's on the left is the current town hall building, and then what's directly in front is what would be the addition, sort of where the cell phone tower is now. There we go. This will get us a modern police and courts facility, which is long overdue, that will be safe, accessible, welcoming, community-focused. I think this is the best location for the purpose. The police and courts have a very heavy traffic load. It's easy for them to get to Arlington and Fairview from this location to get onto the arterial. It's a good central location for police and courts. We know at some point we need to connect the center of Arlington to the main rail trail, so maybe those community police officers who are on bikes would be able to come, head into Arlington from this location at some point in the future. This will be an efficient, both cost-efficient and an energy-efficient building that will have a lower environmental impact than our current building, and something we've needed for a while. Just make clear, we talked from a very early point with the bond advisors. The comptroller's been involved in those conversations, and there's no impact anticipated on the town credit rating or financial health. The town is strong. We could borrow a lot more than this if we needed to, so we're in good shape. And this is essentially like buying a house. It's over a 30-year period, right? So we will, the way this works is first you take out 1-year short-term bond anticipation notes. We have those for the town hall project. I think that the interest rate was 2.353, a very nice low interest rate for the first year, so that when you go to bond for the long term, you're only bonding for what you know you have spent or you need to spend, and rather than over borrowing. Our estimated projection for next year, people have asked for sort of what does this mean for average property holder, is that the impact for 2027 is $10 per 100,000 in assessed value. So if you have a $400,000 home assessed at $400,000 in the town, then the estimated would be about $40 would be added to the tax bill in 2027.
For the whole year?
For the year, yep.
For the year.
Yep. Beyond that, we are going to be working from here on out, beyond 2027, to offset the cost of this project with an array of other strategies, including finding operational efficiencies. One of those is going to be no longer paying to fix the roof on the current police and courts building, right? Finding ways that this makes us more efficient, looking for other efficiencies. We've been in conversation about selling not only the former police and courts building when we're ready, but other town properties, seeking grants. Trevor Rettle in my office has been working very hard on identifying potential grants that would help us with either or both of these projects. We'll work on tax roll expansion and new revenues. Among those new non-property tax revenue streams, we've implemented the hotel motel bed tax. My recommendation would be that we raise that from 3% to 4% next year. And I know that's something several of us have discussed as a potential way to offset the cost for property tax holders. We have the new cannabis tax. It looks like we have enough data to say now that's bringing in $250,000 a year. We will have rentals at the new town hall and community center space so that building will be able to help cover some of its expenses. We've implemented commercial filming fees now, and I'm going to talk in a minute about the possibility of a Friends of Town of Poughkeepsie fund, which is something we've also been working on. So we're continuing to work on these and other measures to make sure that we are expanding our income and so that as little as possible of the burden of these new costs falls on town taxpayers, property taxpayers. There's a lot that we don't know. We don't yet know the final project costs for either project. We do not know the interest rates at time of borrowing. We don't know what tax roll growth will look like for future years. We don't know where our tax roll growth we'll hopefully within the next month figure out what the chippy is going to add to our tax rolls. We have other things happening in town that will clearly expand the tax rolls, but we can't say right now what the tax rolls will look like in 29 or 30, as well as the direction of the U.S. economy and other things. With no offsets, if we were not able to achieve any offsets, we would estimate that the property tax range by 2029 would be to add $40 to $50 per $100,000 assessed for homeowners. But we're going to try between now and 2029 to use some of these other income streams and other strategies to reduce that. Okay, I'm going fast, but I'll stop and go back if we need to. I just wanted to go back to something I said during the budget, which is just reminding people that when we talk about your town land tax bill, this is setting school taxes aside, that's another whole issue, but the taxes that the town collects, in this particular example from the Arlington Fire District and Arlington School, from Arlington Fire District, about 30% of the taxes that we collect are actually town taxes. So this project is adding to that piece of the tax bill and not to the tax bill as a whole. Arlington Fire District, the library, other things. I mean, the Arlington Fire District is bigger than town taxes. Yep, so same in Fairview, the fire district taxes are a huge issue that I'm not gonna get into here, but just when we're talking about where this project fits in, it just fits in the part that we collect for the town. Okay, so this is obviously a necessary and long overdue project, and I think that it will be cost effective. It'll give us safer and more welcoming and more modern facilities, and is much needed by our officers and by the public. So that's where I'm going to stop. If people want to go back and talk about any of the numbers further, again, all the details will come out tomorrow as part of the package for next Wednesday's board meeting. So I just wanted to give this basic overview for the public, for the people who don't necessarily want to read the entire schematic design report, which is 70-some pages long, and who may not want to get into the deep numbers, but to give a kind of overview. Any questions? Oh, somebody did ask a question about parking, and I don't have an overview on this slide. So we did originally forecast that there would be 130 spots needed for the courts, but working with Labella and their team, we have checked daily traffic at the court for several months straight, and determined that we have a larger scheduling problem, which we've been in conversation with the courts about. Basically, they're asking everybody to come at 9 o'clock, which means you've got a lot of people waiting, and you've got a lot of cars, and by 10 o'clock, the number of cars has fallen to average in the low 80s or lower. By 11 o'clock, it's fallen to 40. By 12 o'clock, there's no cars at all. So we're in conversation with them about scheduling the courts differently. It's also much better in terms of security, not to have everybody show up at the beginning of the court. It's better for people's schedules. The state has also just mandated that witnesses can appear remotely. So we're going to monitor over the next few months. We may actually even be able to cut the parking a little bit more, but we feel very comfortable after several months of data keeping that with remote witnesses at least appearing remotely and possibly other remote appearances, and with the changes that have been made to scheduling, or that we can make a set of changes to scheduling that will actually enable the court to function better, I'm not sure anybody, I would say people coming to court, I'm not sure we're going to make them happier. I'm not sure people coming to court. I'm never happy if I have to go to court, but it will be less inconvenient to people if they end up coming at 9 and waiting for hours. We might schedule the first cases at 9, later cases later. So on that basis, we feel comfortable in reducing the public parking area.
Is that parking contained on town property?
It is. It is. The Elks declined to have originally there's already a lot of asphalt up here, and we thought that, sharing, a middle area with the Elks would be a good idea. They were not interested, and there's also, there's some electrical easements there going back to Mountain View Road. And so actually, you know, I don't know.
It would have been
was-
difficult.
It's hard to say which is easier or better, but we just took a different path that I think will work out. So, okay, that was a lengthy report, but I wanted to just get us prepared for next week. Last but not least, I would say that the Friends of, we have been in a conversation about Friends of the Town of Poughkeepsie. So I'll go back here to our new revenues. For a while, we were trying to figure out if we could create a 501c3 nonprofit, whether there was a group of people who would be interested in creating a sort of nonprofit that would do fundraising for town parks. That didn't work out. So what seems to work best, what some other municipalities have done, is to have what's called a field of interest fund at the community foundations of the Hudson Valley. And we're exploring whether that would be possible. So I need help from board members on this. What we would do would be to recruit members for a volunteer advisory board that would work with potential donors. They would help create a wish list of things like summer camp scholarships, or people who might want to endow a bench, or maintenance at a favorite park, or other things like that. The challenge is, so when I was talking with the Fitness Solutions folks down the street about their water bill, they just said, you're building a new police station, can we give you, we want to contribute the fitness equipment. We want there to be new fitness equipment for the police in your town, in your new police fitness center. Great, we can accept that gift, but it just happened that they wanted to do that. Ditto with Tilcon, which called and said, oh, you're having a community day, can we give ice cream to veterans and moms for Mother's Day? But we are not allowed legally to go out and ask for gifts, because that's implying, that puts us in a difficult spot. So this is a mechanism for us being able to keep a wish list of things we do need, so that if there are people who do want to give, there's a mechanism for doing that, and there's an independent advisory board that might help make sure that the gifts meet town goals. And we're going to need to wrestle with some questions about, say, restrictions and naming, right? I was in New York City last winter, and there was an ice rink in one of the parks that was donated by a corporation, right? It had the corporate logos all over it, and everybody was ice skating. I don't know if anybody wants to do that in the town of Poughkeepsie anyway, but how do we feel about that, right? Is that appropriate or not? The town has never had, a corporate logo on a park. Would we accept, certainly we have Stanley Still Park, which is named for someone who's deceased, who was a beloved town employee, right? What is the line between the kinds of naming opportunities that we think are acceptable and the ones that we don't, and for what purposes? So I think we need to have an independent group help us. We actually just tonight have our second town park that will have a name on it, which will be the Reese Woods Preserve, right? Named for the donor who is deceased. So we need to think about those questions. So I would really appreciate help brainstorming who might serve on an advisory group that would help us adopt some guidelines. They have a standard language for a field of interest form. Ryan, I know with your legal background, you might be able to help us with this. And then to brainstorm people who might be willing to serve on an advisory group. I think if we got it running, that it could be a really valuable way for people to both memorialize or honor someone that they care for, and help take care of things like camp scholarships for families in need, and also help the town. So that's something that we're working on. That was a very long supervisor's report. I'm done now. Any questions or anything people want to comment on, or should we move on to the other committees?
I have a question. The state mandate every year we increase the tax by 2%.
No, it just says that we can't go over 2%.
Okay.
Right? Without taking a vote to do so. I mean, we can do so, but the state is seeking to have every municipality stick to the 2% tax cap. In other words, not raise taxes more than 2% a year.
Okay, so that we are within the...
Well, it's not budget time yet. We have, for the last 2 years, stayed under the tax cap. We certainly hope to be able to do so again this year. We anticipate being able to do so again this year. It is not easy to stay below a 2% tax cap when inflation is running at 3 or 4%, right? I mean, the math on that is just labor goes up, costs go up, everybody sees what's happening at the grocery store, but we have succeeded in doing it for 2 years, and we'll try very, very hard to do it again for 27.
I wish gasoline could stay under the 2%.
Well, exactly,
Increase,
right.
yeah.
We use a lot of diesel, right? It's a winter, you know, when we've got to plow the roads, so it's a challenge. But so far, partly due to the comptroller's very careful management and department heads' very careful management and a sort of do-it-yourself ethic in the town, we have managed to do it, and we'll keep working at it.
Yeah, I'd just like to say that the increase in construction costs is real, and it's very unfortunate. As some of you know, I have a tiny little 2-bedroom house I'm working on restoring, and I hit a few glitches. And the quote I have 2 years ago from my contractor has increased 50% for me starting now. So the cost is real, and hopefully, if the cost of diesel and gas goes down, maybe we'll be able to see some reduction in ours. But sadly, this is the reality of the times in this economy.
Right, and that's why there's a large contingency in this
Yeah.
proposal, because we very much hope, you know, gas prices are gonna come back down, and, you know, by the time we need to borrow, things will be better, but the direction of the economy is unclear. Yeah,
One more question. So we are talking about 69.6 million total.
total for town, let me go find the slide, right, 69.6 for both the, would be the cap, the maximum that we would be authorizing for both the town hall project and the police and courts.
So this is, when we initially thinking the ballpark number, this was much lower because of the war, gas price. Now that's the reason it's 69.
It
Otherwise,
has
will be
risen
much,
some from the feasibility stage, yep.
around 30 to 40% cheap, lower, would you say?
I have to go back, I don't think it's that much of an increase.
Okay.
We were looking in the 40s.
54 million.
If you go look at the hard
Okay.
costs, 41.5, which is for the hard costs.
Right.
That's not that much higher than we were a few months back.
Right.
We're putting in a really big contingency,
Okay,
right?
yes,
For the,
yep.
for the unknowns.
Yeah.
But we can go back to the feasibility study if you want and compare.
Right, all right, thank you.
So, yep, okay. Anybody else?
I just wanted to acknowledge that it was a lovely presentation. I think it was very organized and very transparent. So I know this is a lot of work, a long overdue problem that needs to be fixed. And I have a lot of confidence in this board to find alternative revenue streams for this. So I commend you and us for taking this on.
Thanks, we'll all work on it. Well, the other thing is, we're already talking with Labella about some things like, there's a big number in there for site work. When you see the numbers, you'll see, tomorrow you can break down all the pieces of the project and what's cost. You know, we have an unbelievable highway department. Is there any part of that excavation work that we can do in-house? There's a lot we will not be able to do in-house, but where we can do things in-house, that's been the town's tradition. When the senior center was put together, everybody pitched in. So we'll try where we can to do things in-house and to find other, other saving strategies. We're looking at grants and things as well.
Getting real scrappy.
Exactly, if we can. Okay, good. Thank you, everybody. I think I need to turn it over to Barb Laird for the Finance Committee report.
I saw Finance Committee and I was thinking about citizens finance, I got a little confused there. But in our Finance Committee, we met with Minnow to prepare the quarterly projection. We also will be meeting with her again, and probably Andy Learn to be working on the selling of town properties. But, we're just keeping things tidy, I think, and it was a good meeting.
So we are working on the capital plan. It's the first year we've had one, so we're still working on that with a few of the departments. And then budget, we'll be starting to work on budget meetings in June and July, so. And Greg has kindly agreed to join both the finance and budget committees.
I'm excited.
So, lucky you. Thank you.
What's wrong with that?
These are numbers, great.
Okay, Recreation Parks Senior Center.
So we met about a week ago, and as many of you know, Recreation has 21 town parks, programs, a senior center, so there's always a lot happening. But I just wanted to highlight a few things. Our summer camp at Greenville begins. The first week is July 6th through 10th, second July 13th through 17th, and there are the dates following, and that's on the town's website. And pickleball continues, tennis lessons, a lot of activities this summer, and they're all available. More details are on the town's website.
And I want to just add a thank you to all the, speaking of pitching in, all the town departments that have helped with the new bathrooms at Stanley Still Park with the softball league. They're almost done. I think they're going to be done in the next week or two. They're just waiting for the last things. I don't know if you have a ribbon cutting for bathrooms, but it just seems like we should, because they've been needed for a really long time. And water, sewer, highway, recreation, building, everybody was all working together, engineering, everybody was working to get those up and running, and the softball players are really excited to have bathrooms and porta johns, so. Okay, joint water plant, anything?
Sure, we are continuing to, work on the intermunicipal agreement, and Jim Challey came to our last meeting, with Bill to really help us with that. So we've been starting our meetings an hour earlier, at 3:30 as a workshop, just to focus on the IMA, the intermunicipal agreement. But, water quality is good, and we're monitoring everything as usual, but we have healthy drinking water.
Terrific. I do not have a report on the Tri-Muni sewer plant. There's not really any updates, particularly on that situation. So, monthly meetings, but, you know, everything's just kind of going along right now. The larger question about the DEC, consent order with the DEC, I don't have any updates. Okay, any liaison reports? Historic preservation, Anne?
Yeah, we're up to our last lecture for the historic preservation series, and that'll be July 17th, and again, it'll be at the Senior Center, and it's about defending the Hudson River, and Dan Fannin will be doing that. And also, you'll be hearing shortly from us, too. We have a list of houses that are interested in getting designated, so we'll be starting to bring our designation procedure forward again.
Okay, terrific. Also, plumbing board? Any news?
No, we've got a new member. That was it.
Okay, all right, good. Conservation Advisory Committee.
Now what do I want to talk about? So I attended the meeting a week ago, maybe 2 weeks ago, and I volunteered to become the liaison since Bill Reuter has left. And our next meeting is going to be a bit of a mid-year reorganization meeting, and it has to change to July 7th at 5 p.m. here, because many members are on vacation July 14th. Sadly, I am on vacation July 7th, so Rebecca Edwards is going to take my place. Yep, so it was a good meeting, and we got a lot of questions answered about budget reconciliation. So one of our members met with Comptroller Patel, and he's going to be reporting back to the group.
Okay. I just want to report that a lot of the IBM interns and new hires that I met today walked up and said, where do I do composting? And how do I do recycling around here? And so those are issues I want to bring back to the CAC, that I think there's more that we could do to expand the food
my
scraps
goodness.
program.
I just
did
talked
CFAC.
about the CFAC
That's what I
instead
was
of
gonna say.
CAC.
Oh, that's all right.
Everything starts with a C.
It's okay.
And
We
I
can
love
do,
climate
I was
smart
like,
task-
was
I
Bill on the
so excited to
CAC?
talk
well,
about-
we should have CFAC on here too, because you
Yeah,
are
well,
now
that
the
was
liaison.
CFAC,
so-
everybody.
Okay.
Stop,
I
rewind,
caught it.
reverse it. Let me go back. The Conservation Advisory Committee just had a wonderful presentation here tonight at 6 p.m. And it was called The Air We Share. And it was presented by Dr. Eli Duker. He's an environmental microbiologist at Bard College. And also Lorraine Farina, who started the Hudson Valley Air Quality Network. I can't remember what the C stands for, another C. But it was really, really good. We got a recording of this, so I'm going to see if I can put that recording up in the minutes, maybe, so other people can see it. And we found out that they're really available at Bard College in the Hudson Valley Community Air Network through the Center for Environmental Sciences and Humanities to help municipalities. How can we work toward things that make our air healthier through any kind of legislation or resolutions that we pass? So we learned a lot, and I'm really excited to work with them further.
I was surprised at how much they highlighted wood burning, right?
I was aghast.
Yeah, I mean, I thought
Yeah.
that they would talk more about, other kinds of, air quality threats, but they're
But
focused on,
It was your campfires, and we
and-
saw the spike.
and unregulated wood stoves and, fireplaces, particularly open fireplaces.
And this huge spike that goes up on July 4th with all the
Fireworks.
fireworks. It creates a huge amount of particulate matter, and they were like, we're not trying to say, don't have fireworks on 4th of July, but they just noticed that it makes the spike go up really high, so you'll see that in the minutes.
Okay, great, thank you. So that was CFAC and CAC and Climate Smart Task Force?
No,
No, that's not you, sorry. I was gonna ask Shanta if he has anything from the Climate Smart Task Force.
We did file the renewal for the bronze. We were short of some points to have the silver certification, but as Susan mentioned, that we will try again in January, we can refile. So as moving the town hall and that there will be changes in the points gaining. Hope we were like 13 points or so short to file for silver. Otherwise, would have a silver, applying for silver certification. Maybe it could happen in January.
Yeah. I think that whenever we get both buildings moved, those buildings will both be much more energy efficient, and that'll secure us a lot of points. So, okay, thank you. Hudson 7, anything?
No, just that they've successfully set up a not-for-profit to do fundraising to help support the Hudson Seven, so. It's been
Terrific.
very interesting.
That's great.
When is the next meeting?
Next meeting, Hudson Seven, they meet the second Wednesday of the month at 5 o'clock. So yeah, I can forward the Zoom link on to you too, because it's open to the public.
Thank you.
Okay, anything else we need to share with everyone? Anybody else have things you wanna? Okay, then, I would move that we, suspend the rules, for anyone who wants to speak to us, on anything that they'd like to address the board about, for up to 3 minutes. So moved.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries 7-0. So let's start with folks who are in the room who might want to speak. Judy, do you want to come forward? Welcome.
I'd like to thank the board members for all your good work.
If you wouldn't mind sitting, then the folks who are on Zoom will be able to hear you if you're
I'd like to
using
thank
the
the
mic.
board members for
Thanks.
all their good work. Unfortunately, fairly uniformly during this meeting, I could not hear what you were saying. So I just ask you to please speak into your mic as loudly as you can. It would be much appreciated. Thank you.
Okay. When the air conditioning is running in this building, I know that makes it a problem too. But we need to rethink the sound system in here. Thanks.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
All right, anyone else who's in the room who wants to speak? Steve, welcome.
Hi, Steve Oskerlus again, obviously. Actually, just talking about your report, I do have some questions. As pointed out, the total cost now is $69.6 million. Back in 2023, when it was proposed to all be at the Poughkeepsie Day School, where did you get that 78 million? Because in the Mitchell report, and actually on your website from the We Are the Town of Poughkeepsie, you mentioned 54.82 million.
Yep,
which is
that
what it
was what was gonna be bonded in December 2022, just for the police and courts building only.
That's,
The town hall was a second, it was designed as a two-part project, and the town hall was gonna be a second piece.
I'd like to, I'm sorry, I've read that Mitchell report way too many times, and the total number was was that. In addition, yeah, so I disagree with you, I'd like to know. And you also, again, on the, we are the town of Poughkeepsie, saying that a 10% tax hike was too much. Well, you are doing a 10% tax hike, because, yeah, next year it's not much because you really aren't bonding much, but the years after that, the $40 to $50 per 100,000, I'll take my house alone, and just on the town tax part, not any other districts or anything else, that equates to a 10 to 12% increase on my taxes. And that also doesn't include, you mentioned capital projects, as has been discussed many times. There are a lot of major projects needed in infrastructure that, you know, are gonna raise the taxes even higher. And again, the police hall shouldn't, police hall, I'm sorry. The police and courts should never have been, we all agree they should never have been where they are, and they needed to move. But I just think, point out that had the town was not opposed by your group back in 22, the police would already be in a new facility, and there would be, you know, the cost, I believe, would be substantially less. So now
Okay.
we're dragging it out several more
Right.
years.
I'd be very happy to go back to that 54.62 number from 2022, and we can clarify.
Yes, I would
Okay?
appreciate that. Thank
Sure.
you.
Right. George, welcome.
Good evening.
Good
George
evening.
Bob, Ward 5. I just want to acknowledge Barb sent an email. We had a Citizens Finance Advisory Committee, and I really appreciate your email. That was a great email. And if you can, when you schedule the meeting with Manal, if you could include me in that, possibly.
Well, we felt, in speaking to Minal, we
Minal, yeah.
felt that it was going to be much more, what's the word, judicious of her time to meet with one person, and she met with Bill.
Oh, she already met with
She
Bill?
met with
Oh,
Bill.
I'm sorry, okay.
So that's fine. That's what I put in the email, that she would meet with Bill.
I know she
And
was
then
meeting with-
he will be able to kind of turnkey everything that he learned to the
Okay.
rest of us. And then
Okay.
if we have further questions, she can follow up.
Because the only
with
thing I sort of got out of, you know, and I think you did a great job with your email, if these things are being done that I had mentioned in the recommended policy, is really getting more public involvement, aware, you know, making the public aware of the adjustments that were made. I mean, it seems like they were discussed all, you know, at various times, but I don't know if they could be summarized or, you know, the most important ones, but at least having, you know, the public aware of what those, the basis for those adjustments. So that, I'll talk to Bill, I guess, about that, and maybe the next meeting,
At the
you know,
next
when you're
meeting, I
coming,
would like him to present what he learned.
we can talk about
Yeah,
that, yeah.
and I think that maybe our committee, the Citizens Finance Committee, can help with that, because the balance adjustments are done in February and voted on in
Yeah,
February.
yeah.
So we could probably run through that and be there for questions, or we could help highlight, whatever. So
Okay.
we'll talk about that at, well, I won't be there.
Yeah, you
but
won't be for the 7th, but the next one, okay.
I think
I'll
be-
catch up on this and then can
Okay.
pass on to you.
Thank you.
So, okay. Right.
And one last thing I also mentioned, I think Shantha's got a great future in bocce. I just want to mention that. I really enjoyed playing with you.
I forgot to mention the new
Yeah,
bocce
have
courts.
you as my partner
Yes.
anytime.
At Senior Center?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
I didn't know
nice.
you stayed long enough to play bocce.
Yeah,
Good for you.
I stayed.
All right, good. Yeah, George is one of the reigning champions, so that's a big compliment if you were playing bocce well. I'm still learning the rules, so. Okay, and is there anybody else in the room who wanted to speak? If not, then I'll move to folks who were online. Doreen, welcome.
Thank you. Back in May, I believe it was, you had said that you were going to meet with the DOT about traffic concerns here at the intersection of Boardman and Spackenkill. Could you briefly cover what happened in that meeting?
I don't I think we've had a series of conversations with them. I wouldn't say we sat down and had a meeting just about that, because we were also meeting with them about the new entry point on Burnett Boulevard that is gonna go in as part of the police and courts building and some things like that. So, as of Friday, I think they were looking at some of the equipment that they've got and looking at making changes. Mike Welty is here. I don't wanna put you on the spot, Mike, but if you are, still tuned in and can comment on that, but I think we are, yep, there's Mike. I think we're still in conversation with them about seeing if they can find a better solution for that signal.
Yes, I mean, that's exactly right. They're looking at it. They have our timing suggestions that we had from our consultant, but they're also looking at options, at possibly looking at changing some of the equipment that's on that signal to make it more efficient. So to be continued, but the conversation is happening.
I'd also like to say that town police have been in touch with Lourdes and have been working with Lourdes to see if in the next school year they can do something like they're working on their plan to like stagger the dismissal times and some other things to ease the crunch during the arrival and dismissal from Lourdes, which is a big issue over there. So we're continuing to work on both of those.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Georgette Martin, welcome.
Need to unmute.
Georgette, are you there?
Hang on. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can. Welcome.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. First off, I want to thank the board, you and the board, for all the hard work and time you put in to make this plan come together. It's a disgrace that our police are in a building that is a hazard to their health. They have a job that is very dangerous, and they shouldn't have to worry about toxic fumes when they're in their office. And to address what was mentioned before, it seems that people keep talking about the costs of the previous board's project. When we objected to that project, it wasn't just the money. It's a bad idea to put the police and the courts across the street from a day nursery that has children, a library that has programs for children and the community, and Lourdes High School. That's a bad location. And everybody over there on Spackenkill did not want the police coming out on Spackenkill Road. I mean, I think what you're doing now is much better. And that's just what I want to say.
Thank you very much, Georgette. Appreciate it. The next person is Gina Klein. Welcome, Gina.
Hi, thank you for taking my comment. I would like to bring attention to what George said regarding the Citizens Financial Advisory Committee, suggesting that people in the community get more involved. For that to happen, that committee must meet its required performance of posting an agenda and minutes on the website and the time and the date of the meetings. This has not been done since 2025. If this is done, maybe more people from the community can get involved. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I'll be happy to talk with, Steve may wish to respond. We can also work together to make sure that the notices go out. Yes.
Which is part of the reason for the reorganization.
Right. I'm reluctant to start getting into but if you want to give a quick response, please do.
I just want to give a quick response. The agendas and minutes have been submitted. They have not been posted, but I can give you where I've sent the emails that post the agenda. So I don't know what happened after they were there, were sent, but they have been sent.
Okay, why don't you let us know, if you can resend the most recent meetings, and then we'll figure out where the communication failure is, and we'll make sure that we get them posted,
Yeah.
okay?
And including the time we canceled, that was last minute. It was sent to several, you were on it too.
Right.
Trevor, several people, just because it was last minute. And
Right.
that, obviously, I think it was.
Sometimes last minute is hard to get
Sometimes
posted.
they don't
Yeah,
get.
but now that I'm liaison, can you just forward all of those to me?
Yeah,
Thank you.
I'll get it.
Great, thank you. Okay, was there anyone else who wanted to speak? Seeing none,
There was Jen, she did have her hand up. Jen, did you want to speak, or was that accidental?
I just wanted to say, and I have to run, but I just wanted to say quickly that with all of the squabbling about parking spaces and what somebody had on a website 3 years ago, you know, we really mustn't lose sight of the importance of what our police department does for us. You know, these are people who have answered the call to serve and protect us all, the rest of us, from harm. And the least we can do for them is provide a non-toxic environment for them to do their jobs. And these previous town boards over time have just kept kicking the can down the road. And now, finally, thank God we have a board who will stop the can from rolling forward and get this done already. It's the least we can do. So thank you so much to this town board for making that happen. And I can't wait to see it happen. So thank you very much. And thank you for your transparency. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Is there anyone else who would like to speak tonight? Anyone else who's on the call? And we haven't had any questions for LaBella. Thank you to Mike Hall, who has been joining us on Zoom tonight, and being here. And I know Mike will be here again next Wednesday night. So if questions come up once we've gone through all the details of the, you know, the cost proposal and the schematic design, thank you for joining us.
Thanks, Mike.
Yep, glad to be here. Thank you.
Okay, great. We'll do this again next Wednesday night. Appreciate it very much. Okay,
Yep.
Seeing no further comment, I move that we adjourn at 8:30 p.m.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Thank you so much and have a wonderful night.